In video 5 for chapter 5, we're going to look at another method for solving proportions. This time we're going to use cross multiplying. So you will want a calculator handy. This is going to be with numbers that aren't so easy to do in our head, right? So in the last section, we used easy arrows, and now we're going to look at a different strategy called cross multiplying. So I can solve proportions using cross multiplying, or cross multiplication. Okay, so easy arrows is if you happen to look at your proportion and a multiplication fact, mental math fact jumps out at you, we can use easy arrows. But here's some examples where I don't see a easy arrow between these numbers. Okay, so the strategy that we use if we don't see an easy arrow is to cross multiply, and that means multiply these together. So 9 times P is 9P, and multiply these together, right? The ones that are crisscross, multiply them together. 2 times 4 is 8. Now, it doesn't matter which one I put on the right, which one I put on the left. I'm just going to find both of those and put an equal sign in between them. And that gives me an equation, and now I can solve that equation for the variable. So, divide by 9, cross out what cancels, bring down my P, and if I type in 8 divided by 9 in my calculator, I get 0.88 repeating. So I solved for P. Let's try another one. I don't see an easy arrow here, so I'm going to cross multiply. 9 times 8 is 72. 20 times C is 20C. Doesn't matter which one I write first, I just write them both down and put an equal sign in between them. And then I have an equation, and I'm going to solve for C. So divide by 20 here so that I get C by itself. Divide by 20 on this side. Go ahead and type that into your calculator. 72 divided by 20, and I get 3.6. So this is why we're just going to use a calculator to type this in quickly and get our answer. Okay, next one. Again, not an easy arrow here. I'm going to do 2 times 15 is 30. 7 times x is 7x. Doesn't matter which one I do first, just write them both down, put an equal sign in between them, and solve for x. So divide by 7, and x is equal to, you can type that in, or I got 4.28. Okay? So as we're learning this strategy, you're going to show the work just like this. Say, all right, I'm going to multiply these together, I'm going to multiply these together, and that gives me my equation, and then show work to solve the equation. After you do this for another week or 2 or 3, you'll get into just some shortcuts for how to type this more quickly into your calculator. But for now, let's write down all the steps. 9 times K, 5 times 10, equal sign in between them, solve for K. So divide by 9, K is equal to, and if you type that in, I got this. Okay, so that's how cross multiplying works. Now we're going to use that in some story problems. So what if I have to set up my own proportion with some labels first? All right, 36 pencils in 3 boxes. I like to kind of find this ratio where they're giving me both parts of my ratio and set that up first. So 36 pencils in 3 boxes. That's my first ratio. How many pencils are in, and we're going to find, for 7 boxes? Well, this other number that they give me, I have to decide, does it line up on top with pencils or does it line up on the bottom with boxes? So because this says 7 boxes, I put it down there, and this is what I'm looking to find, how many pencils. Okay, so your job is to make sure your labels are lined up. Pencils, pencils, boxes, boxes. If there's an easy arrow, you can take it. Maybe you see one here, but if not, let's cross multiply. 3 times x, and 36 times 7. Again, I would just type that into my calculator. So I typed in 36 times 7 and got 252. And then solve for x. So divide by 3, and if you type that into your calculator, I get 84. And I already know I was looking for X right here, so it's 84 pencils. Okay, you should already have the label ready to go because it's already filled into your proportion, and we were looking for this. All right, let's do another one. A car with a full 13 gallons of gas can go 360 miles. So I'm going to find this ratio where they give me both numbers that I know go together. I like to put miles on top, so 360 miles with 13 gallons is my first ratio. And then keep reading. How many miles can I go on 3 gallons of gas? Well, make sure your labels are lined up. So 3 gallons would go down here. Gallons and gallons, I'm looking for how many miles. If you see an easy arrow, go ahead and take it. If not, let's cross multiply. So 13 times x and 360 times 3. I did that in my calculator. You can do it in yours. 360 times 3 is 1,080. So you can tell we're not using numbers here that are necessarily easy to do in your head. We're typing this into our calculator. Divide by 13 on both sides to get x by itself. And when I type this in, I got 83.07. And I already know I'm looking for miles. So label it miles. And see if that makes sense. On 13 gallons, you can go 360 miles. On 3 gallons, you could go 83 miles. Yeah, that seems reasonable. Okay, let's flip it over. I'll do one more and then you practice one. Actually, you can do both of these. So try these. Okay, you're going to set up your first ratio. Looks like $45 for 12 fidgets. Write your first ratio here. Make sure you're labeling everything. And then where would you put the 67.50 to line up? And then solve for your x. Okay, the next one. Here's your ratio to use to start with. Label everything. And then see where would you put 20 pages to line up. And then cross multiply. So go ahead and set those up. Hit pause when you're ready to cross multiply and check your answers, okay? Okay, the first step is just getting it set up correctly. $45 for 12 fidgets, $67 would give me how many fidgets here. And then you can see that we're going to cross multiply. So when I do that, I get 45x equals, and I multiplied these in the pink and got 810. And then my work would be just divide by 45 on both sides. And I got x is equal to, you can go ahead and type that in, I think it comes out to 18 fidgets. Okay. And the next one, 13.5x equals, set it equal to, and I multiplied these together and got 90. Then divide by 13.5 on both sides. And when I type this in, I got 6.6. And you want to plug that back in and make sure it seems reasonable. If I can read 13 pages in 4 minutes, right, if I'm rounding, then I can probably read 20 pages would take me about 6 minutes. Yeah, that seems reasonable. I add a few more pages, it takes me a couple more minutes. Okay? All right, we're going to do number 5 together, and then you're going to do number 6. Number 5 says, you average 45 miles per hour on your road trip. How far can you get in 8 hours of solid driving? And how long would it take you to go 500 miles if you don't stop? So there are actually 2 questions here. I'm going to split this in half and do 2 separate questions. How far can I get in 8 hours? How long does it take me to go 500 miles? Okay. But all they're giving me is this one number, 45 miles per hour. Your job, when you see anything with the word per, that is a unit rate. Remember, per tells you they're giving you a unit rate. And when you see that unit rate, you need to split it up. Split it up into its two pieces. Okay, so here's what I mean. 45 miles per hour actually means 45 miles in 1 hour. So I saw the per, and I'm going to split it at the per, and 45 miles goes on top, and 1 hour goes on the bottom. That's my first ratio here when they're giving it to me as a unit rate. Okay, so now let's see, how far can I get in 8 hours? Well, I'm going to line up the 8 hours this way, and I'm looking for how many miles. So that's the first question they ask me. Now, anytime they give you that unit rate, it's kind of nice because they actually also make it into a easy arrow problem. 1 times 8. So I'm just going to type in 45 times 8 to get my answer here. Now, could I cross multiply? If you like doing it that way better, absolutely. Or if you see an easy arrow, you can always take that. So I'm going to type in 45 times 8, and I get 360 miles. Okay, so let's do that again. Same rate here, still 45 miles per hour, 45 miles in 1 hour. Now it says, how long would it take me to go 500 miles? Well, line up your 500 miles on top. How many hours is what I'm trying to find here. Again, usually if it's a unit rate, there's an easy arrow. This would be divide by 45. Divide by 45. I could do that. Or if you want to cross multiply, you're more than welcome to do that as well. So this would be 500 equals 45x. And again, you can see that I'm just dividing by 45 on both sides. Either way, you would type this in 500 divided by 45, and I get x is equal to, I think I get 11.11 hours. Okay, so you have one more here. It says Mr. Howerton golfs 14 times per month. So you have to recognize 14 times per month is a unit rate, because I see that word per, and wherever I see that per, I'm going to split it actually up into its two different units, right? 14 times, I'm going to say golf. He goes golfing 14 times in 1 month, and then finish my proportion. Again, this has two questions that go with it. So here's the first one. How long will it take him to golf 100 times? Finish that. And then same rate, still 14 times golfing in 1 month. Finish setting up how many times will he go in 6 months. So pause it here until you finish both of these. Actually get easy arrows or cross multiply. Finish both of those and hit play when you're ready to check those answers. Okay, so once these are both set up, remember golfing, golfing, months, months, golf, golf, months, months. My labels are lined up. Here you might use this easy arrow of dividing by 14. That would work. So 100 divided by 14 gives you your answer here. Or maybe you do 14x equals 100. And again, still just divide by 14. Either way, you're typing in 100 divided by 14. And I got 7.14 times golfing. Nope, 7.14 months. It would take 7 months to go golfing 100 times. Or this one, maybe this is a little bit easier of an arrow here. 1 times 6, so 14 times 6. And if I type in 14 times 6, I get 84 times golfing in 6 months. Okay? And that is the end of Chapter 5, Video 5.